got all these good ones coming. This is a very deep misnomer that can cause a lot of people emotional pain, mental pain. This idea that if I'm not affecting or reaching many people, if they don't notice me, or if I'm not helping many people, that somehow my life is less significant compared to somebody else who seems to be reaching a lot of people. This is not true on any level. And this isn't a positive affirmative video like God don't make any junk, you're okay. No, we're gonna share and talk about how this is a fact. Your reach, it doesn't mean anything. Your the quality of your character, the quality of your consciousness is independent of, you can say, your reach or your mission. They're different. They can be related or not be related, like it's irrelevant. You can have an idiot, ignorant person be affecting millions, and you could have a very high level saintly being that maybe only talks to one person. Actually, there's some that don't talk to anybody. They can be deep into isolation or a recluse out in the mountain or jungle somewhere, but super high level. Just the vibrations they emanate is helping uplift the planet on levels that we're not even aware of. We can't figure this stuff out and logically deduce what things mean with our little pea brain. Can't do it. It has to be intuitively that we can intuition is a much higher intelligence than what the human being refers to as intelligence. As far as their IQ and their brain and all that, that's very low level compared to intuition. I've had two geniuses, bona fide geniuses, as friends in my life, and they were the real deal. They're like a walking encyclopedia. You could ask them anything and they would give a very astute, logical answer. But when it came to intuition, they're lost, which ended up, that's why the relationship ended. It's a different subject. So you could have, I've shared about this before. You have a hospital, you have a heart surgeon, and you have a janitor, and you got everybody in between. We're programmed to think that somehow the heart surgeon is more valuable than the janitor. Yeah, because like he can save the person's life. And they need a transplant and they can like put a new heart in and save their life. Janitor is just cleaning the floor. Because see, we miss the interconnectedness. If the janitors weren't there to clean the hospital and the rooms, they couldn't do any surgery. There would be infections as soon as they open the person up. The rooms, everything has to be clean and sterile. So like, who's performing a greater function? Now we're conditioned to think in terms of, well, how the mind thinks. What's the greatest? You know, what has the strongest impact? That person is somehow higher than someone who's unnoticed and has less seeming impact. It's just not true. This person that has seeming less impact, you don't even know how much impact they're really having unless you break it down and look at it. The janitor is having a huge impact. If a YouTuber has 1,000 subscribers versus 1 million subscribers, what? Does that mean the person who has 1 million subscribers is somehow higher level because they're reaching more people? Look at some of the people that have 1 million subscribers and see, like, is that a person that you aspire to be like? Do they have the qualities and the consciousness that you want to have? I mean, we have to look at things with common sense sometimes, but we have to delete the conditioning so that we can see things with common sense. With the conditioning there, you can't see things clear. We see things corrupted and fragmented, and we just become part of the machine and see things with the way that the collective majority see things. All right, what are we going to say here? Because I made some points. I don't want to miss stuff. So I was saying before, the consciousness in your quality of character is not the same as your mission in your reach. See, your mission that you're given, your function to fulfill in life, this is given by the divine. This unfolds. You don't choose what that is. The person that has 1 million subscribers or the person who's a heart surgeon didn't say, I'm going to make a choice. I'm going to make a choice to be the heart surgeon instead of the janitor because the heart surgeon pays more money. Okay, yeah, I'm going to go do that. The person that has 1 million subscribers, I want to have 1 million instead of 100 or instead of 1,000. It's not like that. It unfolds. Your destiny unfolds. All of our whole lives are unfolding. It's like preordained, but we don't know it because the 3D hypnosis is so strong. We think because we're supposed to, that we're making decisions and choices every day, and then that's going to lead to this, and this is going to lead to that, and oh, whoa, look what a good job I did. See, they even told me I did a good job, so it must be true. Yeah, we're supposed to be hypnotized a bit. But it's also part of the unfolding that some of us aren't supposed to be hypnotized. We're supposed to like come out of it and then share. And then it's part of the unfolding that some people will be able to receive what you're sharing so that it can break the hypnosis. And it's part of the unfolding that some people, they are not supposed to break the hypnosis. They're supposed to stay hypnotized for a while because that's the destiny. They want to experience the unfolding has to have everything. I've made that video before. The infinite has to include everything. Sleep and awakening and good and bad and really, really bad and really, really good. It has all that. It's only by grace in some mysterious way how those who are tuned to this message and enjoy it, that's allowed to happen. By law of evolution and good karma and who knows what other factors. This is good. Yeah, give appreciation to that. Even though you couldn't really do anything about it to begin with, still, it's normal to feel grateful for that. So our divine mission, our function that we're supposed to fulfill, this has already been downloaded. But we have to wait. We have to go through life and go through the chapters in this book called You for then it to be revealed what your function is. And it may be your part to play. The assignment that you took on is not supposed to be a role that's going to reach so many people. That's just not the role. There's only so many roles. It's like president. There's only one role for that, for 4 years. Not everybody can like play that role. It doesn't matter. It's not choice. It's like destiny. Well, it's same with every role in life. Not everybody can have 1 million subscribers. Not everybody can be a heart surgeon. There's certain roles. So the intelligence of the divine knows that before it sends itself on this journey. And so we're delegated to play certain roles. That has nothing to do with level of consciousness. You can have super high level consciousness playing a very just kind of seemingly unimportant, unnoticed role. Because that's just the way it is. We have to, see, our job isn't to try to get the best role. Okay, now we're getting into causal seed karma, causal karma. This is the deepest karma. This is what keeps sending us back here. This deep need for importance. I need to feel important, or I need to feel loved. I need this dream with all its dream characters to somehow tell me my dream self that I'm important and that I'm loved and that I'm worthy. This is causal karma. This is the deepest karma. This is deep identity. You have to solve that. You have to first realize that that's what it is. Why is it so important that I go be elite at something, or I affect the masses, or change the world, or do whatever? I've talked to these people before. What's the word? I used to use a word for it. I think Messiah complex or something. Yeah, they're like, they just feel like they're here to like change the whole world. If you're here to change the whole world, that's the mission, and that will happen automatically. But those beings, here's the irony. Here's how you know. If you're really here as a Messiah, you're not even going to be thinking of yourself as a Messiah. You're not going to be telling people how important you are and that you're here to change the world. You won't even feel yourself to be important. You're just doing your deal. You're doing your thing. Jesus never felt he was important. The Rumi never felt he was so important. He's doing his thing, doing his mission. And they never felt they were higher than the shopkeepers either. So where do we get this brain damage from? that we think we have to make some statement in the world from this causal identity. So we have to solve that. And so this video, we're trying to help sort that out a little bit. I learned best, and misnomers in my mind could be seemingly dissolved easier when I had some understanding, because that's my archetype, that's my prakriti, the play of my elements is understanding. When I understand something, it's like something can release and say, this is okay. Yeah, this is truth. I had to understand it. I had to understand a certain degree of the nuances and the subtleties of things. Yeah, good luck finding people that I couldn't find anybody that could help me with. I found a couple, but I'm just saying, out of hundreds and thousands of people, it's hard to find. You don't learn this in school. You learn the opposite. Society tells you the opposite. Go get it. You can be whatever you want to be. You need to go be the best. Be better than everybody. Work harder. Yeah, okay. Experience that and see if that's for you or not. When I was younger, yeah, it was like, okay, it built the ego up. I've made videos about that too. You have to build the ego up before the ego can break. How can you break an ego that's not even built up yet? So that all has its place too in its stage. But when it comes to these, you can say missions, let's talk about the benefits or the pros and cons of how can one say, if we're talking about spiritual teachers or something, this teacher affects millions. He's on the platform dancing around and everybody's like, oh, wow. Okay, you have that. And then you have some teacher who only works with a few people, or one person, let's just say even one person. How can that be that the teacher who's working with one person, you're telling me that's as significant as the teacher has 1 million in his audience? Yeah. Actually, the person who has one person could be even more significant. Why? Yeah, we're going to say why now. The person, let's say, he has 1 million people. Have you seen the audience? Let's assume that you're at a certain level. Have you seen the audience of these teachers who have 1 million people? Have you seen how they're kind of like just all part of the herd? If the teacher laughs, the student laughs. The teacher's serious, student, then he gets serious, right? They haven't even reached, did that video come out yet? I don't think so. They haven't even reached individual stage of consciousness yet. They're still part of like the collective herd consciousness. There's collective consciousness, there's individual consciousness, and then there's transpersonal consciousness. The herd consciousness, they're kind of all the same being. I've shared before. It's like you see 1 million mosquitoes, but they're all like the same mosquito, really, just spliced up into they all fly and bite and do the same thing. This is herd consciousness. Individual consciousness is when somehow the soul is waking up more to its own individual personal karma. That person's life can look much messier than the herd level consciousness, because it's your time. You're ready to, you're on the fast track now. You want to get to transpersonal consciousness, which is when you realize that, wait a minute, this whole thing's a dream. The sense of me, the individual, the ego, this personal individual feeling, everything, like, that's also not who I am. That's also part of the 3D equipment. Well, how do you realize that? By the individual sense of a self coming up, and then by suffering it. I have all these, see, when we talk, there's like all these other videos that are in this one video. So it's hard to stay on, just talk like a robot and follow the one topic, because I feel it's important to address these other things. So the teacher who has 1 million people in their audience, it could be, many times it is, a very superficial level of darshan. It's like the people, they enjoy and they talk, yeah, wow, I'm listening to a guru, and then they leave and there's not much change at all. They haven't really transformed. They go and they operate in the same way and react in the same way. There's no deep transformation. Then you have the being who's talking to a few people or even one person, and that being who he's talking to, you see, here's the thing, when you're talking to a mass level, you can't get into the subtleties and the nuances of things, which is really where the transformation happens. It's always in the nuance and in the subtleties, because as you grow, you find that's all there is. There's no more like, oh yeah, just pray and you'll be fine. Just do yoga, just do meditation. No, things come up that's very intricate. That requires one-on-one, like examining and dissolving those things. A collective guru can't do that. He's talking to how? He's talking to millions. You don't have time. So the individual one does. They do the subtle, they work with you on subtle level. So let's say the teacher who has less reach, who's only working with a few people, he's working on that level. He's working with the beings on a very private, intimate level. How can that still surpass a teacher who has 1 million followers? Because the teacher who's working with a few of the subtle beings, those beings, through the transformation that they get, can end up themselves affecting millions. And then they can also, out of the people that they affected, can also end up affecting a bunch of people. See, we don't know how things work. Whereas somebody who's maybe just a seed planter, that seed may not sprout for 10 lifetimes from now inside this other person. So you can't figure this out. What's the point of sharing that? So that then if you have this misnomer in your mind that somehow if you are higher conscious, that then you should be reaching more people, or if you have this feeling that this identity, like I used to have in the past, that's how I know about it. I didn't want to do anything unless I thought I could be elite at it. If you have that in you, this might help dissolve that. It might help you realize, like, wait a minute, it really doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. If you're a movie star and you go outside and no matter where you go, people are seeing you. See, people think that that's gonna make them feel good. They may not want to admit it, but a lot of people have that idea and thought. I did too when I was trying to be an actor. This is why experience helps. I didn't experience what it felt like to be a stereotypical movie star, meaning I was acting in movies, but I felt the kind of attention that maybe some of those movie stars could get when I went to some of these little villages overseas, several, like 3 decades ago, 2.5 decades ago. And did it make me feel good? It make me, wow, it really helped my self-worth and I'm important. No, it made me restless as hell. And you know what I also realized? Those people don't love you. These movie stars that walk out of the house and everyone's like, oh, wow. Why? You think because they love you? No, they want to take their little picture and put it on Facebook. Look, I was with the movie star. Once you see through this game and all this superficial nonsense and people's motives and agendas and realize none of it's pure, then you can start this causal karma of deep identity and deep desire, to make an impact in the world. That goes down because you see through it. Also, like these teachers, I think I touched on that, when you're talking to the masses, you have to dilute the teaching down because you're talking to the masses. They're like forced into being more politically correct. That would suck for me. If I'm not free to speak unhinged and unedited and uncut, man, I don't even want to talk. So they have to dilute the teaching down, otherwise it goes over their head of the people that they're talking to. And so again, you can't get to the deeper levels. The real transformation happens on these deeper levels. So a teacher who only has a few people he's working with, he can go as deep as he wants to go. And the students are high level enough to where they can start to assimilate it. And I've shared in, I think a couple of videos ago, that even if the being doesn't understand something, if you trust the teacher enough, you know what they're saying is true. And so you're open. And then understanding can come. Somehow the capacity, you get an upgrade from the universe because you're open and humble, and you get an upgrade, and then you can understand things that you couldn't understand before. These are the benefits of when somebody's just working with a smaller crowd. So I think we hit everything. Some people's life, man, you could say it's like a river. A somewhat shallow river. Nobody's really going to drown in it. It just kind of, everybody can get wet, and put your foot in, get a little wet, play in the water. I can squirt. I remember we go to the public pool. I can do this thing with my hand, and I can squirt. So I would squirt the water, it would like land onto little kids, and then I'd point at my friend like he did it. So you could be like a river and kind of just touch people indirectly, or you can be like a deep well. People drown. They'll drown in you, drown in the well, and then they can have a real transformation. So what's more important, having one person that had a real transformation, or a million people that kind of just superficial, just say, oh, this is great? Yeah, it's all subjective and relative. It doesn't matter, man. Like, universe is using everybody for the highest purpose. I'm not the collective teacher that's touching millions superficially. I'm not saying that that's wrong either. I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying. I used to tell my girlfriend that. I said, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying. All right. So if you think your life is insignificant, it's impossible. You couldn't be here if your life, it goes back to the joke I made at the beginning. Like, God don't make no junk. Doesn't matter how you feel or what your mind tells you about yourself. That's just not real. We trust our mind and our feelings too much. The fact that you're here in this human dimension, in this human form, means your life is significant. You just you haven't realized why yet. So you gotta wait till you get to that chapter in your book. And then it starts to be uncovered. Why? You feel it. It's not why. It doesn't have to be why, even in a logical reason. Like, oh, I helped Billy when he fell down. I got him a Band-Aid. That was very significant. No, it don't have to be from a certain thing. It can just come as a realization, like, I know that I'm here, man, because I'm supposed to be here. Like, the divine has put me here, and that's why I'm here, and that's significant. It can be just like that. Just come as some deep inner feeling, realization. All right, I think we hit it good enough. So I'll keep coming with the good ones. I'll see you.